Hello, my beautiful people. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Goretti, and today I wanted to talk a little bit more about sleep, but in regards to something a little bit different than a video I did a while ago on sleep. So basically, we just had the time change here in the Northern Hemisphere. I think North America as a whole does it. I'm not sure if other parts of the world do this, but whenever we have the time change, like it was during, our fall season, even though the clocks go back an hour and we are supposed to get an extra hour of sleep, most people don't. Regardless, if even we do get extra sleep, you'll notice that whether it's you or other people around you will be saying, they feel extra tired, they feel a little bit off, something doesn't quite feel right. Now, in springtime, we spring forward, meaning, the clocks go forward by an hour, and, so we lose an hour of sleep. And now I know that they are or have been talking about, stopping this, not doing this anymore. I agree with that. I think that we shouldn't have any time change. That's my opinion. And I'm going to talk about that on, this video, but comment down below and tell me what you guys think. What's your opinion about this? But the reason that I think it's not a good idea and they should stop doing it is because of our own body clock. So and this is something that's come up, in sessions with people, as well as just, in my personal life. Just how I feel every time we have a time change, it's like there's always, some internal chaos, right? Like, and it takes weeks, for us to feel better, right? Or get back to the kind of that, center. So basically, in regards to this, the reason that it's not a good idea to do this time change, it affects our internal body clock. Okay, so we are made to actually follow the sun cycle, and in our world, especially in North America, we don't have to. We have electricity, we have lights, right? So back centuries ago, back in the day when they didn't really have that, it's like the sun goes down, people are getting ready, to go to bed. The sun comes up, that means we got to get up, and now we have to do things, right? So, and it is so interesting because, you guys probably already know, if you haven't watched my video on sleep is super important. It is important to give our body the time to rest. This is the time that our cells regenerate. This is the time that our organs get a break. I remember that, until I started having sleep issues a few years ago, I was like, oh, I don't have to sleep lots. I don't need a lot of sleep. I'm very much a hardworking person. I'm very productive. I'm like, no, less sleep means more time for me to do other things. No. That's why there's that saying, beauty sleep. Sleep is so important. It affects how we look, right? How we age. It affects not just our physical appearance, on the external, but it affects how our internal organs age. It affects, how our organs work. Our cells. This is why, people maybe get sick more often than others, but sleep is super important. It is important for us to give our bodies that time to rest, to give our organs that time to rest, to give our cells that time to regenerate themselves, okay? And it only happens during sleep, right? So, for instance, our digestive system, goes to sleep during that time. So many things happen while we're sleeping that is crucial to our health. Okay. But my family actually is from Portugal, or from the Azores Islands. So the Portuguese islands, off the coast of Portugal. And, I went back, I always call it home, although I was born and raised, in Canada, but when I went back 13 years ago, that was the second time I visited. I absolutely loved it. Didn't want to come back, but they did things so differently. And this is before I became, or just as I was, going through school to become a counselor. And I really paid attention to their lifestyle there. And the reason that there isn't, depression and anxiety really in like Europe and other parts of the world, like, eastern parts of the world as much as here is, the way that they do their lifestyle. So what I noticed when I was there, and at first, we stayed with different families, and I was like, why, like, where is everybody? It's like 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm like, where did everybody go? I'm ready to, party and have fun and talk and do things. And I didn't realize, everybody was going to bed because the sun went down. The sun would go down in the evening sometime. And typically, sure, they would hang out a bit and have their dinner, which was always a very light meal. So this is something else in regards to this, but I'll do another video probably on that. But they have their light meal at the end of the day, which makes total sense because you have to go to sleep, and their heavy meal is actually in the middle of the day. So it's so interesting. And then they would be up at the crack of dawn. Like literally, I was out in the country and the roosters are, singing, right? And that was their alarm clock. Like they would get up, the roosters, at the crack of dawn were, calling and making their noise, and that would wake everybody up, and they would get up. And I'm like, I'm not ready to get up. Like I could use another 3-4 hours of sleep. So I had to adjust because we were there for a month. I had to adjust to that. But it's just so interesting how they would do things based on the sun. So when the sun would come up or the sun would go down, right? Sun goes down, bedtime, lights out, sun comes up, hey, ready, to wake up. So the fact that our world revolves around this time, and when they shift it, going forward an hour, back an hour, the other thing too is we start to lose a lot of the sunlight, and already it's difficult for people in the northern hemisphere with winter. We don't get enough sunlight. We're not outside as much getting that vitamin D and the sunshine, so we're already struggling. And then on top of that, with the time change, we get even less sunlight, right? So this is why even with the time change, this is the point to this video, even with the time change, sleep is so important. So you guys, 7 to 8 hours of sleep is crucial for everybody. But not just, sleep, but the time that you go to sleep. So our body clock, we should be in a certain, sleep cycle or cycle of our sleep. At 1 o'clock in the morning, we should already be at a certain point. So this means that we should be going to bed, 10:30. Like our bodies really should be going to bed at that time, if not earlier. Okay. And then when the sun comes up, right, we should be getting up kind of when the sun comes up as well, as long as we're getting, that 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So it doesn't matter if the clocks go forward or they go back. I would highly recommend, if you can, to adjust your life and adjust your days to follow your own natural body rhythm, your own natural body clock, to follow the sunlight, as opposed to following the time that's set for you wherever it is that you are. Okay, because you're going to get a lot more productivity out of that. Physically, a lot more health and well-being if you do this, because our bodies really, we weren't made to go by clocks, like external clocks, and somebody decides, somewhere in the government or whatever, that this is the time that it's supposed to be right now. No, our body doesn't understand that. Our body only understands going by, the sun and moon cycle. All right, so if you can, try to, shift your life around that if you possibly can. So I always tell people, and they're like, well, sleep or school and work and, things like that. Okay, well, this just means that, maybe instead of doing that workout routine, at night, now you're doing it in the morning or whatever it is. If you're doing lunches at night, now you're up earlier, so you make lunches in the morning, that kind of thing. Just try to adjust your life accordingly, okay? But it's super important for you guys to follow your own internal body clock and internal body rhythm when it comes to sleep, with your sleep cycles, going with the sun and the moon cycles. And also, you guys, sleep is so important, making sure that you are getting that full 7 to 8 hours sleep every night, so that your body it can, have the rest it needs, and for your cells to regenerate, and so that you guys can be as healthy as possible. All right. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Please do all the things, like, share, comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. Share this video with anybody you think it might be helpful for. And if you're not subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. I would absolutely love to have you here as part of this ever-growing butterfly community. Don't forget to hit the bell icon button so you get notified of new videos. And as always, you guys, I wish you all peace, love, and light until next time. Bye-bye.